One thinks of December as being sort of the end of the year. Everything gets dark early and so on. But actually, rhododendrons and magnolias and camellias are great optimists, because you can see the buds here covering this rhododendron, which is lovely scented flowers in June, but they're already formed and ready to go. And in fact, the rhododendron we've looked at several times before, even devoted a little video to it, Rhododendron dalhousie. Here again we have all its buds ready to go in April. Great optimistic buds. Coming up the path here, I noticed a wonderful wine red winter foliage of the evergreen climber, Trachelospermum, jasminoides. We've put it on the walls here. And there's one over there and on the house, the studio wall, because it's got these wonderful jasmine fragranced flowers, and it covers quite a distance. This bit of wall here is not very attractive, but the cold weather does bring out these wonderful wine red tones in the foliage, an added bonus. Wading through the leaves. Now almost all come off the trees, but there are things still to see. Let's have a look. The winter camellias are still bravely carrying on in this secluded patch here. We've got some white ones and the lovely scarlet. And pink. Brave souls. They've just endured 2 terrible gales. Here's Crimson King living up to its name. Crimson on the outside and gold in the middle. And coming around the corner from there, I see the Japanese hydrangea involucrata. It's still got some flowers amongst its enormous leaves, and this one is quite a late flowering hydrangea and not all that suitable for colder climates, but I must say this is sumptuous. At least evergreens and stems come into their own in the winter, and this stand of myrtles still looks pretty good. I thought I'd make a bit of an exotic corner here, and I planted this mahonia, which is a type of mahonia confusa. It's a little bit like the one that's called soft caress, only it's bigger in all its parts, and it's still got this very nice foliage. This one's called mahonia confusa nahiri, and we've still got the colour on the fuchsia, being supported by the myrtle. I see we've got a natural cushion of leaves on the blue bench. But you can now see the beautiful red stems of maple, Acer, conspicuum phoenix, with the weeping cashmere cypress behind it, Cupressus cashmeriana. I think the red stems stand out pretty well against the background of the cashmere cypress. Here's a shrub we've seen before, a hardy citrus, Poncirus trifoliata, with its thorny stems and tangerine-like fruits. Now, because there were so many of them on this shrub, we thought we'd try make some sort of a marmalade from them. Big mistake. First of all, we picked quite a few and stuck them in the kitchen, and the next day there was a horrible smell in the kitchen. Not very pleasant. Did nothing with them for a couple of days, then tried boiling them up. Smell was even worse, so the whole project was abandoned and they were chucked out. I just want to admire them on the bush. But don't let me put you off if you want to have a go. Poking through a bed of leaves, I noticed the first flower of the winter Algerian iris, which is very pretty and such a welcome sight. They're quite ephemeral, they don't last very long, and one is always tempted to pick them for the house, which is really where they can be seen to their best advantage. But if you wait until they're in flower, it's too late. They'll be up and over. What you want is to see the fat bud of a new flower forming there. And when it's got to almost opening, that's when you pick it. And here's another group I see coming out further along. And there is one which I think is ideal at the moment to pick and bring into the house. Let's come around the summer house and around the back. And I see the rather discreet flowering of a very tall shrub, the Viburnum, with highly scented flowers. This is Viburnum bodnantense, a hybrid between a viburnum called Farrorai, which is very scented, and Viburnum grandiflorum, both from China. The cross was made in the 30s by Charles Lamont of Edinburgh Botanic Garden. He didn't think much of the seedlings, so abandoned them. But the same cross was made at Bodnant Gardens in North Wales, wonderful garden. And there they did persevere with them and produced the forms that we see today. This one is called Deben. It's got pale flowers with a touch of pink, very fragrant. There are other forms called Dawn, which has got pink flowers, and Charles Lamont. Another slightly later flowering winter camellia is this lovely American variety in the Winters series. This one is called Winter's Interlude. Now here we have a very floriferous winter camellia, very reliable, semi-double, called Gay Sue. With Gay Sue in the background, there are a couple more rather lovely winter camellias here, and I believe they're from the Paradise series, which is bred by Bob Cherry in New South Wales, who retired a few years ago. This one, I believe, is Paradise Vanessa. It's got a semi-double appearance, and there is a tiny bit of pink around the edge of the petals, which is now faded. And in front of it is an absolutely gorgeous pink winter camellia, and I really don't know the name of this. At least if I did, I've lost it. Bob bred these to withstand the Australian climate of drought and extreme heat, something we don't actually get in North Devon. Bob and Derrily, his wife, came with us on our trip to Sichuan in China, southwest China, and I must say they were very good company. And Derrily managed to make friends with most of the people in the village, even though she didn't speak any Chinese, they didn't speak any English, and yet she managed to have tea, feed their dog, and find a rose which we'd gone up the mountain to try and find, and which she happened to spot in the garden of one of the places she was chatting with chatting, I say, in inverted commas, with the natives. Remarkable woman. And here's a lovely old Japanese variety, nicely scented, called Narumigata, and it's really gone right up into the Acer raffineuve with its lovely orange stems, which I think sets it off very nicely. And down here is a flower of winter camellia called Jean May. I'm not all that keen on this because I think it's got a little bit of orange in it, and orange and pink are not my favourite combination, frankly, but still makes a nice contrast with the white of Narumigata. Under the lovely trunk of the Atlantic cedar, taken on contorted shapes. I planted this in 1979. Anyway, underneath I planted some white cyclamen with pretty leaves, some of which have died off, others of which are doing fine. And here's one which is flowering, and it's really got flowers the size of a sort of indoor, not so hardy cyclamen. It's obviously a hybrid with the hardier ones, and they've got little scented flowers. But some of these have got the most amazing foliage. I'm sure Bertie joins me in wishing you all a happy Christmas, and I hope we'll see each other again in the new year.